Trish Stratus is joining Lita and Becky Lynch to battle Damage Ctrl at Elimination Chamber. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler slated for WrestleMania. And Impact Wrestling announced a multiverse event with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Look out for Knockouts versus STARDOM matchups. Welcome everyone to Ring the Bell. This is Diaz.
And the Sriracha Muchacha, Paloma Star.
That is so cute.
It's my Sriracha AirPods holder.
I love it, I love it. There's a lot of crazy news going on and I'm like flying out to Korea like tomorrow. Let's film it somehow. Currently I'm like hiding in a makeup room in our NBC studio, but let's do this before someone comes in because huge rumor is swirling around. You know I'm excited about this. We saw Lita show up on the main event of Raw. Apparently Lita will be joined by Trish Stratus to go against Damage Ctrl at Elimination Chamber. This sounds like my fantasy booking. Like, what is going on? What's your first thought?
Who booked this and is this real life? Like, is this actually happening? Like, first of all, seeing Lita was awesome. It's always amazing seeing Lita, especially like such an inspiration for me and so many others. But I was like, is this really happening? Like, I didn't think it was real. And at first it was like, oh, okay, it's just gonna be like an appearance or they're just gonna be like out there supporting women. But now that it's a whole, like they might have an actual match, I was like, yes, I want all of this. Give it to me now. Yes.
So this just sounds so unreal, but according to Sean Ross of Fightful, the WWE is planning to have Lita have an in-ring return at Elimination Chamber, but it's not going to be just her alone. She's going to be joined by Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. So if you remember, I forgot that Trish Stratus actually confronted Bayley and Damage Ctrl in August on Raw.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that happened until you just mentioned it. Not gonna lie, I was like, that happened. But you're right, it did happen. I mean, see, talk about long-term storytelling. I also think it was one of those things that probably just worked out, and it just so happened that she had that confrontation with them in August, and I think like, oh yeah, they just like put two and two together. But I don't think when this happened back in August, I do not think at all that we're thinking like Elimination Chamber. I just thought it was a cool moment, but now that it's actually happening, I feel like now it's like, oh, okay, let's connect the dots, even though the dots we didn't even know we're gonna connect. But it also makes sense because if it's gonna be a multi-person match, like a 3-on-3 match or a tag match, that way they kind of like spread the load a little bit more. It's not as taxing as just like being in the match the whole time. They could just go in there, do their super cool spots. It's best of both worlds, really. Like, we win as fans because we get to see them and our favorites, but also they win too because it's not as physically demanding as if they would have like a singles like 10 to 12 minute match. Not that they can't do it, because you know they can, but it'll just be, I feel like it'd be like a little bit easier to kind of like, hey, you want to be in a tag match, and then like a month in advance versus, hey, you want to have a 20-minute Broadway match.
If this actually happens, Elimination Chamber could be like the best pay-per-view or PLE for women's wrestling fans, because we already have this women's Elimination Chamber match happening, and then we got Beth Phoenix returning to have that tag match against Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor. And if this happens, I'm like, wow, this is like the best pay-per-view ever. Even just last year Elimination Chamber, it's Lita versus Becky Lynch who had that dream match, so I'm kind of like, I did not think I would like Elimination Chamber this much. I do have to say though, even Alundra Blaze, Medusa said it herself.
So we always see, in the Attitude Era, who do we always see coming back? It's always Lita and Trish. I'm right. I'm pretty burnt out over them. I love them dearly. They're colleagues of mine, and I think they're great.
As a Trish fan, I do not want to say this, but everyone's like, oh my god, it's always Trish and Lita.
I mean, yes, it is them, but also it's Trish and Lita. Like, come on now, right? So at least it's not like the same people and the same people who we don't like love and admire and are so good. So it makes sense. While of course I would love to see like Victoria or like Jacqueline or like any other ones that we don't see a lot, it also makes sense on why it's also always Trish and Lita. Like, I would love to see a more of a different people be brought in, but I could see why they do it. I mean, it's really honestly probably comes down to like a business sense. Trish and Lita hold a lot of weight. Like, even people who don't watch wrestling now know who Trish and Lita is. And while that's not trying to diminish anybody else, but that's who were like the biggest household names in that era for sure.
They're the Rock and Steve Austin of women's division.
Yep.
So that's probably the reason they're coming back. But I also at the same time, I do agree with Alundra Blaze said. Like, I want to see Michelle McCool come back and have that match with Charlotte Flair. I want Victoria and Jazz in Hall of Fame. You know, I always love seeing, you know, Alicia Fox and Kelly Kelly come back for that Royal Rumble spot. So, you know, she has a point. The other thing that I think is really interesting is that, you know, just a couple weeks ago, all the women's wrestling fans, like, lost their frickin' shit.
How didn't they showcase anything from the women's evolution?
For that Raw XXX, me included. Because they totally snubbed the women. So I wonder if it's like WWE...
Like overcorrecting?
Overcorrecting. They're like, shit, we pissed all the women's wrestling fans. So let's do this, let's do this.
Elimination Chamber will now be called Evolution plus some guys.
I mean, I still want Evolution 2. Let's not get that wrong.
Of course. Like, why hasn't it happened yet? Come on. I will take this. In the meantime, this will be a little appetizer for the main course of which will be Evolution 2 in 2023.
It is also reported that WWE is planning a WrestleMania match between Bayley and Becky Lynch. If this happens, the first singles match without the title involved at WrestleMania. So that's gonna be absolutely amazing, and I think just having Trish and Lita there for this Elimination Chamber would be a really great way to elongate this feud even more.
Agree, for sure. I mean, I love that they're involved with whatever capacity it is. I mean, the more women, the better for everybody, honestly. But I'm really interested to see if they stick around for WrestleMania and what their roles would be then. So we'll see what happens.
The other news is, again, regarding Damage Ctrl. Damage Ctrl is a talk of the town, so there is this very interesting WrestleMania match booked for Damage Ctrl. Dave Meltzer reported that this women's tag team title match is locked in for WrestleMania 39, and it is Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler teaming up to go against the current women's tag team champions Dakota Kai and Io Sky.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forget who are the women's tag team champions, but that's because I don't feel like they've been featured enough as they should. But I do like this match for the reason that means that their tag titles are gonna have a big spotlight because it is WrestleMania. It is big names on in that match, because regardless of what you think about Ronda brings in some views. She's definitely mainstream. So I'm definitely excited for this match. I've been liking Ronda and Shayna, especially since they're like very heelish lately. So I kind of want them to go more into that. But also, is it Io and Dakota Sky also heels too?
I love that you said Dakota Sky. That seems like a
Dakota
good tag
Sky,
name.
Yeah.
That's true. They're both heels, so that would be interesting. So Ronda Rousey was originally supposed to defend her women's title against Raquel Rodriguez at Royal Rumble, but that changed last minute. So what happened was that Ronda Rousey decided that she wanted to have this tag team run with Shayna Baszler, who they're actually BFFs, they're real life friends. So because of that decision, this whole Charlotte Flair winning the title, all that stuff happened. And, you know, actually Ronda Rousey talked about it on her YouTube stream.
Is it a bucket list dream team with Shayna and win the tag titles? You would dominate. Yes! Oh, I'm happy just to have a tag title. I don't need singles title. I mean, both is cool, but alright, I've been doing singles for so long. I'm ready to change it up. Kind of thinking about taking over the tag division.
Interesting. I kind of just want this to happen, so eventually we could have Shayna turn on Ronda, because I totally want Ronda versus Shayna.
And you know, Ronda Rousey potentially being in this storyline, the tag division, means really, really good thing for tag division. If Ronda is involved with the title, I'm sure that WWE cannot ignore this division. For the first time, this will be important. This could be priority for WWE, which I'm so excited about. And Shayna Baszler, just in general, she needs more airtime. She's so amazing. I would like to see this. I really like to see this.
Me too. Especially people need to realize sometimes you need to zoom out and see the bigger picture, while whatever is being booked and happening might not be like your cup of tea. But if you zoom out, it's going to be better for the women's division, better for the tag title. So if you have to put up with some bookings or some people that you don't like, it's okay. It all works out. It's going to be for the betterment of everybody here. So I know it's so weird. I feel like I've been reading and seeing way more people hate on Ronda lately, so I think that's why I bring it up more. But I'm just here for a better booked women's tag titles. Come on.
I think it's also because Ronda Rousey has a mainstream appeal, but for the core fandom, they're still kind of hesitant about, you know. But if you look at just Ring the Bell's top feud videos, whose face do you see, Ronda Rousey? So personally for me,
Thanks, Ronda.
thanks Ronda, she brings me views, she brings me chingle chingle. Last news, this is Blockbuster 2. So Impact Wrestling just announced that with New Japan Pro Wrestling, they will host Multiverse United event with 3 matches already announced. So none of these matches are women's matches yet, which is a little disappointing, but I do love me some Speedball Mike Bailey. Him and Will Ospreay is gonna have a match. It's Impact Wrestling. You know they're gonna have knockouts involved with this pay-per-view.
Oh, for sure, as they should. And I feel this will bring in more eyes to the knockouts and to Impact in general. Because I feel like New Japan fans are very niche to just watching like New Japan. So I feel like they might follow them in anything New Japan does. So I hope that this brings in some more people. Because really, I mean, anybody who doesn't watch Impact, you are sleeping on some amazing women matches. They're so good. Like, this totally reminds me of that era of like knockouts when it was like ODB and Roxy Laveau and all of them. So this is very reminiscent of that. So I'm really here for it because I also feel like the Japanese style wrestling is really, I mean, it's always been super popular, but now that Mercedes is over there, I feel like it has a new like kick in the butt for it. But I'm here for it. I'm really excited to see what matches they have. And I have noticed a lot of Joshis coming over to the States more and having more matches. Just of the Queen of the Indies in California is bringing in like Aja Kong. Like, what? Like, so it's awesome to see so much more crossover. I mean, really, we all win in this, especially Impact.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Impact has so many great talents, like just Jordan Grace, Masha Sandwich, Diana Purrazzo. They have so many amazing talents that I'm like, how do they showcase everyone? Giselle Shaw, Killer Kelly. But also, I think Stardom, I love that Stardom. I really hope Stardom is going to be involved with this, but Stardom is just being really aggressive with like expanding to the global audience. Obviously, with Mercedes Moné being involved and having that match with Kairi, which is going to happen, I think in the same day that Elimination Chamber is happening. So we're going to review that. But also, I think, you know, doing this partnership with Impact Wrestling, this will be another great opportunity to get those eyeballs. Because personally, so I'm going to Korea, and I was thinking about going to Japan for like maybe for a weekend and catch a Stardom show, but it's like kind of difficult to navigate their website. They're working on it. They're expanding it, and I'm also seeing that they're inviting a lot of like non-Japanese talents like Mariah May.
Yeah! She's killing it. Planet Venus is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, so they're really making tons of attempts to expand their audience, so this is a really great time to jump on it. I will try to jump on it. I promised you that I'll make a video about, you know, getting how to get onto Stardom. I will work on it after I'm done, after I come back from Korea. It's an exciting time.
It is, and I think a lot of people are kind of intimidated by getting into Japanese wrestling and kind of intimidated by like finding where to watch Stardom or where to go and all that stuff. So I think it'd be awesome if we do have like a how-to or a tutorial video on how to get people into it. So I'm very excited that they're actually, I think for the first time since they started, putting in such a big effort to expand their reach to a more global audience.
So Knockouts and Stardom, what's your dream match?
Oh man, that'd be so hard.
I mean, we gotta have Mickie James versus Mercedes Moné.
I've never had a singles match with Sasha.
Not.
And I would really, really love to have a singles
You're
match.
technically
with
both
Mercedes.
free agents, guys. You're
We
both
are.
technically free
We could
agents.
just book it at my house.
Talk about worlds colliding and universes expanding. That would be great to see them at both different wrestling platforms besides like WWE, to really have like full creative control of what they could do. That would be really awesome to see.
I personally want to see Gail Kim come out of the retirement and maybe have that match with Kairi. I know she kind of wants it. I know she wants it. So I would love to see that Korea versus Japan match. The legend versus legend. I would love to see that. But that is all the news that we have. Thank you so much everyone for joining in for this news and rumor episode. Paloma, I missed you so much. Where can we all see you?
I miss you too. You can find me at Paloma Star on Instagram and Twitter. And DS, since you're going to a trip to Korea for a while, where can we follow you along on your adventures?
You can find me on Instagram at DSShin and RingDevilDS on Twitter. And, you know, like I said, the weekly review series will be paused a little bit, but we are having tons of cool special programming, and I'll be filming some cool stuff while I'm in Korea. And maybe Japan, I'm not sure. I'll see you next time. Bye!